In this edition of City News, learn about the new reopening phases. Also see who gave out backpacks to local children. These stories and much more coming up on City News. Hello and welcome to City News. I'm Jennifer Murillo. As we continue to be in the pandemic, the question now is, may we be facing bigger issues this winter? We have with us Dr. Joe Nakagawa from the Hawthorne Police Department to give us his tips and predictions on vaccines. Hi, Dr. Nakagawa. Since there currently is no vaccine for COVID-19, do you think people should be taking the flu shot?
Well, the flu shot is available now, and we always recommend everybody gets it. It's pretty safe. There's really no downside to getting the flu shot. And the good part about getting the flu shot is if you get the flu shot, hopefully you won't get the flu this year. And with COVID running around, if you come down with a fever and a cough and something that sounds like the flu, it's going to be really hard to tell whether it's COVID or the flu. So it's best just to get the flu shot and just remove that variable. And worst case scenario, you don't want to have COVID and the flu at the same time. That would be a bad setup.
Do you think there are higher chances of more people getting the flu shot this year because of COVID?
I hope so. I think with people being more aware of viruses, infectious disease, people will be taking care of themselves better this year and get the flu shot because it's really little downside to having a flu shot. And I think now with all this awareness of infectious disease, people will be more inclined to get it. So I really hope so.
With everything going on, is there a twindemic likely to happen?
It's definitely possible. Now, we've actually been watching the Southern Hemisphere pretty closely because Australia, their seasons are opposite of ours. And they've actually fortunately had a fairly mild flu season compared to years past just because everybody's wearing masks and doing the hygiene thing. However, if there's a new strain that's not covered by the vaccines, we may actually get a really bad flu season on top of COVID, which would be a terrible scenario.
What could you tell people about vaccines and how safe they are?
So the vaccines that we've had until now have been extremely safe. There was one paper years ago that suggested that maybe some of the vaccines cause problems with, say, autism. However, a lot of that's been debunked and they're actually very, very safe. And even if you were to assume that, maybe some of them did cause problems, the chance of you getting sick from a vaccine is much, much lower than you getting sick from, say, measles or some of the things that are covered by the vaccines. Now, I know a lot of people's concerns is because COVID is so new and the vaccines were developed in a relatively short amount of time that they weren't fully tested. But they were. There are big clinical trials going on and the vaccines are tested. And again, the chance of you getting sick from the vaccine itself is much lower than the chance you get sick from COVID.
With flu season coming, do you think it'll impact our hospitals this year more than ever?
Yeah, so COVID, it's still going on, and there's a lot of people going to the hospital, and that's kind of straining the healthcare system as it is. And now the flu season is going to be starting up shortly, so that's just going to add fuel to the fire. And so there's a very strong possibility that our healthcare system will be overwhelmed if the flu season is, average, even worse than average. Now, if you throw COVID in and there's people going to the hospital with a little fever and a cough, we don't know if it's the flu or COVID. And those people are going to end up in the ER and really put a stress on the healthcare system.
Finally, is there anywhere we can go to get more information on vaccines?
Sure. We always recommend people go to trusted government websites for information. There's a lot of bad information out there, but the CDC is impartial and have a lot of good information. Also, the LA County Department of Health has a nice website, and the California State Department of Health has a great website. So those are reliable sources for good, reliable information.
I appreciate your time and the information you've shared with us today.
You're welcome. Anytime. Stay healthy, stay safe, and I'll talk to you next time.
Thank you.
Take care.
On Friday, August 28th, Governor Gavin Newsom introduced a new slow reopening plan. The new 4-tier color-coded system will replace California's monitoring list. Under the new system, counties will move forward based on the number of cases and the percentage of positive tests. LA County health officials will be thoroughly reviewing the new guidelines before they give malls, hair salons, and barbershops the green light to reopen. To find out what's open in your county, visit the California All website at covid19.ca.gov/safer-economy. Most of us know that by now smoking cigarettes can be harmful to your health and in many cases can lead to cancer. But what about secondhand smoke? Reporter Laura McKay spoke with one local organization about their work to bring awareness and change.
Thanks, Jennifer. I am joined right now with Johan Walker. He is a part of the Ahmad Institute, and they have been holding several meetings. And before I really talk about it, I'm going to let Johan tell us a little bit about it. Johan, talk to me a little bit about this organization, the Institute. What are the Hawthorne Coalition meetings? What are you all doing in those meetings?
Absolutely. So again, Johan Walker, I am a policy coordinator with the Ahmad Institute, which stands for Arming Minorities Against Addiction and Disease. Through Proposition 99 and 56, we have been funded through the LA County Department of Public Health, specifically under their TCPP, Tobacco Control and Prevention Programs, to do work within the jurisdiction of Hawthorne. And our goal is to reduce exposure to secondhand smoke in outdoor areas. So that would include around outside seating, around privately owned windows and doorways, sidewalks, service areas, golf courses. And we really want to push this change through shifting the cultural norms around smoking and making smoking less desirable, less accessible, and less accessible.
And how does this secondhand smoke relate to minority communities? What's the connection there, and why reach out to that subset of groups?
And it becomes really relevant the time that we're living in now with COVID-19, when we're dealing with an illness that attacks the respiratory system. While diseases can't be racist, certainly policies can. And when you think about what communities are impacted, it's communities of color, because we have pre-existing health conditions. It's no secret that tobacco industries have intentionally targeted Black and brown communities. So those are the communities who have COPD, who have heart disease, who have lung disease. So when we look at the areas that we support, and more specifically Hawthorne, what the makeup is, it's predominantly people of color who identify as Black and brown. So it's really important that we create awareness and bridge the gaps between that knowledge of why is secondhand smoke, or why is this campaign relevant, and why is it relevant, especially because of the era that we live in. And we know that folks, secondhand smoke or policy may not be at the forefront of everyone's mind. We know that there's a lot going on. But when you think about, for example, outdoor dining, there are a lot of businesses who have had to shift. And when families go out and eat, they want to, we want to ensure that they're protected. So it's really important for us to get businesses and city council to understand that in order for communities to continue to thrive, in order for businesses to kind of keep their momentum and for folks to be healthy and safe, we have to set policies and procedures into place that protect their access to fresh and clean air.
And so the way you're hoping to do this is through policy change, and is that through some sort of proposal to present to city council? And if so, when do you foresee that happening?
That's another good question. So the way that we have been engaging with community members is through our coalition meetings, and in that space, we expose the most important thing to us, well, a few things, but one, we want to make language as accessible as possible. We realize that a lot of folks are not very familiar with the policy process. So in our coalition meetings, we break down the language. What is a municipal code? How do you find the municipal code? Looking at language and kind of dissecting what that means. Again, we have presentations that allow community members to tap into their power through letters of support, letters of concern, and providing public comment. How do you shape that narrative? And again, through education around tobacco, the tobacco industry and the harms. But our proposal is to, again, looking at what the existing municipal code is and how can we strengthen it, what areas need additional protection. And before we do that, we have established a base of solid folks who want to continue to engage with us so that we can allow city council members to see that, we've coming in into the community, one, because we want this to pass, but we're doing this for the people, and there are people in your community who care about this. So we hope to address city council by the end of the year.
So by the end of the year, we could possibly be having an update with you all on, what if something moves forward or not with this. Yeah.
Correct.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for just taking this short amount of time to just talk with us about this. And we'll definitely be following up with you on this process and connecting people as if they're interested to get connected with your organization. So thank you and stay safe out there.
Thank you so much.
Take care. Bye-bye.
If you're interested in getting involved and joining in the conversation, you can go to their website at www.amaad.org. Coming up next on City News, find out what is in these yellow bags. There's more news ahead. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Since March, many businesses have been struggling to keep afloat. We have with us President and CEO of the Hawthorne Chamber of Commerce, Patricia Donaldson, to give us some insight on businesses. Hi, Patricia. Can you tell us if the Chamber has been able to help businesses in the community?
Well, a lot of the people need finances. A lot of them need food, diapers, formula, and with the help of City Councilman Haydar Awad and City Treasurer David Patterson, we've been able to give out food, diapers, and formula to businesses because these are entrepreneurs and they're suffering tremendously.
Is there information that you've been able to provide them with to help them stay afloat?
Well, I only give them the information that's given to us, and that's by the Cal Chambers, and the city gives a little, but mostly it's been by Cal Chambers and other facilities that have sent emails to us and asked us to send it out to all of our businesses, which we have done.
What types of businesses have reached out looking for help?
Nail shops, barber shops, the cleaners, some of the restaurants. The restaurants are more concerned about when they can open back up totally. And they were very frustrated. And a lot of the restaurants, we don't have a whole lot of restaurants in Hawthorne, but the ones that we have been concerned about would they be able to have their dining outside. And thank God that that has happened. So now they're able to have dining outside, which is helping a little, not a whole lot, because the outside doesn't hold as many as inside does.
Moving forward, what do you think is going to happen to a lot of our city businesses, and how can the community help them?
Well, if it stays like it is right now, we're going to lose a lot of businesses. Right now, there's about a third of the businesses that aren't open, that they're still waiting to open. And even some of the corporations, I mean, we're doing the golf tournament on September 17th, and a lot of the corporations have told us that they aren't going to be opening their businesses until December or January, which is really hurting not only California, but it's hurting our city also.
Is there any other information you can provide to help a business in the community?
Well, I've gone to the businesses and they all know who I am because I've been here for about 15 years in the chamber. And they all know to call me. Everyone has my cell number. I try to go to as many people as I can, help them out financially a little bit, because we don't, the chamber really doesn't have the money, so it's really coming from me. And then with, like I said, with the help of Haydar Awad and David Patterson, they've also helped with groceries, diapers, and formula, and a little bit of money for some of the business to keep their lights on. Whatever help we can do that we're able to do, we are doing.
Lastly, is there a website or a phone number business owners can call if they have any questions?
But they can call me on my cell, which is 310-754-9564, and I will give them the information. I will email them the information.
Thank you, Patricia. We hope everyone continues to stay safe and businesses make it through this pandemic. The Centinela Valley Union High School District, along with Lawndale Mayor Robert Poulet Miles, LA City Councilman Herb Wesson, and nonprofit organization Stop the Violence, Increase the Peace, all joined together to host a food giveaway at Lawndale High School. Reporter Danny Miskell has more details.
Many families struggle with a hard choice: pay rent or buy food. So LA City Councilman Herb Wesson partnered with food banks, including the World Harvest Food Bank, to take action and bring much needed essentials to struggling families.
Government at times like this, government should rise, not shrink. Being that we're hearing all of the issues out there and the sad times and people losing jobs, this meal that they get today might be the meal that just saves their day.
Families drove through this site to receive these yellow tote bags filled with frozen chicken, vegetables, and other fresh produce. As families here in the community drive up to receive their bags of food, they will also be receiving valuable information on where the next COVID-19 testing event sites will be held, as well as programs that they can plug into for domestic violence and anger management programs. Volunteers from the Stop the Violence, Increase the Peace Foundation handed out information packets containing a map showing locations for more food giveaways.
We can still help more families and spread the words to help people that need it at this time, because many people who are out of work and different things of that nature. And we're just trying to help families.
Councilman Wesson arranged a total of 200 tote bags to be prepared for this giveaway. For HCTV, I'm Danny Miskell.
Centinela Valley Union High School District plans to host another food giveaway at Hawthorne High School on Wednesday, September 16th. To find out more, visit their website at www.centinela.k12.ca.us. The Richstone Family Center collaborated with Superior Grocers and a couple of other nonprofit organizations to give back to families in the community. On Wednesday, September 2nd, the Hawthorne Community Fridge and the organization Equity Through Literacy held a drive-through back-to-school distribution where they gave out 200 book bags and 200 grocery bags.
They're gonna have napkins, paper towels, olive oil, and some canned goods.
As an educator and as a parent myself, it feels amazing to be able to provide additional support, not just with food, but also with educational resources, especially since our children right now in a virtual learning environment don't have access to books and school supplies that they typically get in school.
Richstone also received generous donations and gave out clothes to young children.
They're very thankful, they're very energetic, and especially with the school supplies, they never thought that we were going to be able to give out during these harsh times when they don't even have the tools to learn from home. So it's great.
To learn more about the Richstone Family Center and their events, visit their website at www.richstonefamily.org. When we return, we'll show you a place where members of the community can obtain some reading material. COVID-19 has been difficult on all of us as we adjust to the new normal, but it's especially been a challenge for our community's most vulnerable, senior citizens. That's why one young man is doing his part to help ease the stress during this time. Reporter Lauren McKay previously spoke with him about his organization created specifically for Hawthorne seniors.
I am joined right now with Christian Alexander and Cecilia Martinez from the Great Neighbors Organization. Christian, I just want to address you first. This is a follow-up story that we're doing with you. As about a year and a half ago, you received a really great grant to be able to pursue this project, the Great Neighbors Project. Tell me about what that grant meant for you and what's been happening with you all in this past year and a half.
Most definitely. Yeah. So the grant was received from the Bezos Family Foundation through the Scholars Program that I participated in the summer before our actual resource fair. So summer of 18, I was selected alongside other scholars in the nation to go to Aspen, Colorado to learn about ideas, problem solving, things of that nature. And then from there, we were all given a grant to help make community change happen locally. From there, I partnered with Miss Kress, one of the teachers at my former high school, Hawthorne Math and Science, to help support seniors by way of Great Neighbors. We had a resource fair last year as well as a seniors prom. And since then, because of the pandemic and everything that's been going on, we've had a lot of just shifting plans, what we're doing, what we are able to do legally and what we can do safely for seniors. But the biggest thing we've been doing lately is having volunteers work helping to connect volunteers to local senior centers to have them assist with daily packaging of lunches or calling in seniors to check in on them, things of that nature. And we are still in the process of planning a lot more, potentially having like another virtual-ish resource fair later on down the line, but it's a lot of throwing something at the wall and seeing what can stick in the middle of these trying times.
Yeah, I'd imagine that this has probably pushed you a little bit to be a little bit creative. When the pandemic first started, what were your initial thoughts? Did you think that you were going to have to sort of end the organization because of this weird time that we're in?
I'd say that I never really thought about ending the organization, but way back in like February, March, well, no, especially like March, April, it was just a matter of like wondering how we're going to like refocus and shift things up. You know, as of late February, we were planning on having another resource fair in Hawthorne alongside an ice skating fundraiser. And of course, those two had to go just like that. And from then on, it was just a matter of like wondering like, you know, what we can do to like develop as an organization while also helping out seniors as well. We've been putting a lot of effort and time into just looking at potential websites, web hosting options. It's like a group of me alongside like 4 other HMSA students. We've just been planning. I'm also my Miss Kratz, the teacher as well. It's a lot of planning out how we're going to get websites going. And I'm not experienced with it at all. It's been a learning process. I'm not going to lie. It's also been just coming up with ideas of like, hey, what can we do for seniors now, given that they're one of the most at-risk groups, but also providing some kind of meaning or connection for them. So it's been a big challenge, but we're making stuff happen one way or another. That's how I always see it.
Yeah, really innovating. And one of the ways you're doing that, bringing Cecilia into the conversation, is volunteer. So Cecilia, tell me about why you decided to be a volunteer. What got you interested in being involved, and what sort of things have you been doing and learning from helping out the seniors in this program?
Well, I like volunteering. I always like helping others. So one of the things that when I got the email asking me if I was able to volunteer, I was like, of course, you know, because it's something that I actually love doing, and packing the food, giving the food away. It was something really good to do.
That's excellent. And so tell me about, have you been able to build relationships with some of these seniors, or has that been a little bit of a challenge given the distance we have right now because of COVID?
Well, yeah, it's kind of hard because of the distance, you know, we keep our distance. So not really, but I would, like I said, I would really love to keep volunteering for them. This was like a really good opportunity for me.
Excellent. And now, Christian, you are in college now. When you first created this, you were in high school. Where do you see, what's the future of this program? What do you see where do you see it going after this?
I've been thinking about that a lot, especially in recent months. I'd like to say that within the next, say, 3 or so-ish years, we're going to be staying like within the greater South Los Angeles-ish area. We've been reaching out to the Lawndale Senior Center as well as like Inglewood, just branching ourselves out to provide, so that way we can connect more seniors with their respective senior centers as needed. I go to school in St. Louis, Missouri, and I've thought briefly about trying to establish like, I guess, another chapter out there. May or may not be on the horizon depending on what I can and can't do logistically, but overall I intend to stay involved and just like help, you know, further cement and establish the organization, and eventually as a nonprofit, hopefully, so that way we can have a definite larger reach and grasp with the impact that we're able to help drive for seniors and for others as well.
So great neighbors nationwide. That sounds like sounds like the plan. Well, listen, I have to let you both go, but I'm so thankful to be able to have spoken with you. We are wishing you so much luck with the progress, and we'll be checking in again just to see how things go.
If you would like to get involved and volunteer, call the Great Neighbors at 818-646-6183. There's a new spot where local citizens can pick up a book to read. Tony Long Jr. has the details.
The Hawthorne LAX Lennox Rotary Club and St. Margaret Center collaborated on the installation of a free community library.
I think the timing's amazing because with all the libraries closed since March, children and community members don't have as much access to books. And so we're so excited for this project.
Peter Laddie, member of the Downtown Los Angeles Rotary Club, was on hand to help set up the library.
My club as a project decided to build a dozen little free libraries like the one you see behind me and place them around the city of Los Angeles and neighboring communities, mostly in places which have a book deficit.
Mary Agnes Erlinson, director of the St. Margaret Center, encourages the community to add books as well.
If they just want to, donate random books, just go ahead and use it. It's their library. It's the community's library.
Erlinson also states that there will be 24 hours access to the community library. For HCTV, I'm Tony Long Jr.
The library is located in front of St. Margaret's Center at 10217 Inglewood Avenue in Lenox. The South Bay Workforce Investment Board will be hosting their 25th annual awards ceremony. The ceremony will take place on October 28th at 3 p.m. Although this year it will be held virtually, CEO Jan Vogel is asking everyone to join them and support the work and accomplishments made by the clients, students, and partners. To RSVP for the virtual ceremony, go to their website at www.sbwib.org. That does it for this edition of City News. Thanks for watching. If you have any story ideas, please call us at 310-349-1630 or email us at hctv@hawthorneca.gov. Don't forget you can watch City News online on YouTube by searching Hawthorne Community Television. We'll leave you now with footage from the food giveaway. See you next time.